there was a different lawsuit in 1974. You know, one of the other cliches that you always hear, oh, you couldn't make Blazing Saddles today.
Well, that's yes.
And Blazing Saddles, a great movie. First of all, why would you want to remake it? It's there. It's great.
Yeah.
You know, they made History of the World Part 2 recently. I haven't heard anybody really talk about it much. So I think if you were to make Blazing Saddles today, it would suffer the same fate. But in 1974, two things happened. One, Hedy Lamarr, the famous actress, and the Harvey Korman character in the movie Blazing Saddles is called Hedley Lamarr.
Yes.
Hedy Lamarr sued Mel Brooks for $10 million as well. As soon as Blazing Saddles came out, same concept as that Martha Ray lawsuit. Said she had been held up to ridicule, that her name had been used without her permission. And Mel Brooks and Warner Brothers did settle with her out of court. She did get several million dollars. So the idea that nobody was upset by Blazing Saddles back then maybe had nothing to do with racial slurs or satire of racism. Hedy Lamarr still sued Mel Brooks for $10 million. The other thing I like to point out is that Blazing Saddles comes out in January 1974. It's a movie co-written by Richard Pryor.
Yes.
That summer, same year, 1974, Richard Pryor was performing in Virginia. After his stand-up act, he was arrested by the police for disorderly conduct, which was the charge that they placed because obscenity laws had since been overturned, for swearing on stage. So the same words that you could hear in Blazing Saddles in 74 got Richard Pryor, who co-wrote the movie, arrested in the summer of 74.
Yeah. You could walk, like you say, you could walk down the street, see the movie.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to haul you off.
Yeah.
Nobody's hauling off the projectionist.
Yeah, which happened back then all the time. They would, if it was a movie like Russ Meyer's Vixen or Candy, the movie that Terry Southern wrote, those movies were constantly being busted by vice squads throughout the United States. They would bust not just the theater owner, but the projectionist, the ticket taker, people with minimum wage jobs who had nothing to do with the content being shown, just to harass them out of existence, essentially.
Well, they're just trying to send fear to every other theater that would consider projecting
There's
this
a
movie.
story in the book, Alan Funt. You know, now, I'm not that old, but I feel old when I talk, for goodness sake. Alan Funt.
The Candid Camera host.
If anything, we should be objecting to the obscenity of his last name.
Funt, as we're... Yes.
But Alan Funt created Candid Camera, which was a popular show for decades and decades. It was still on the air when I was a kid. Dom DeLuise was hosting a terrible version when I was a kid. Anyways, they made a movie of Candid Camera called What Do You Say to a Naked Lady? It was Candid Camera for the big screen, and it had topless women in it. The projectionist, I think it was in Delaware, they were showing it. They arrested everybody at the theater that was showing the Candid Camera movie. And again, it was like, even at that point, I think most obscenity laws in the United States had been overturned essentially as unconstitutional. But a lot of local police departments didn't want to conform to the fact that these had been overturned. So they would still arrest people, and then the charges would be thrown out. But
that's exactly it. Yeah. They make their hay with it. They get their goal, and then they just know this is not a permanent thing. But we did what we got away with what we wanted to, and now you're also scared of it happening, and especially also maybe you get thumped with a billy club or whatever. Give you a little knot on your head. Maybe you won't do this twice.
Right. It was harassment, straight up harassment.